Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. And in today's video we have this 2016 Honda Civic and we're going to do the Taillight Tint installation for this vehicle. So this is how it looks before doing the installation on the taillights, and this is how it looks after the installation. So the tint has PPF properties, which means it will protect the lenses from yellowing over time, as well as protect it from any small scratches or any road debris that may hit the lens. Link for the product will be provided below. But with that being said, let's get started with the installation video. So the tools you need in order to install the tint kit will be Slip Solution, Tack Solution, a heat gun, squeegee, and a microfiber towel. And a step-by-step guide in order to create the two solutions will be in the description below. So before we start with the installation for the taillight, we need to make sure we prep the entire lens. So just apply Slip Solution to the taillight, and with a clean microfiber towel, remove all the contaminants that the taillight may have. So we're going to start by installing the tints that would correspond to this section of the taillight. So we're going to start from the middle and work our way to the outside. So with this one, it's a small piece that covers this design of the taillight right here where the reverse reflector is located. So just apply tack solution on this little edge here and tack solution on the adhesive side of the film. And you'd want to align it right on the edge here. This tip will go underneath here and make sure this is all aligned here. So if you need to lift it and readjust it, you can. Just make sure it stays aligned. And this covers the bottom section here. And this goes up to the top here. So lift it and adjust it. So just like this. Now apply tack solution on top. Grab your squeegee and start tacking it down to secure it. And then we're going to apply heat to help it tack down around this edge here. Because if we don't apply heat, it's going to lift over time, and the film we put on top of it, it's just going to cause it to lift. So make sure before we start with the next install, we seal everything and make sure nothing's lifting. So just apply heat until everything's been tacked down, and we can move on with the next piece. So once we finish installing this small piece, now we can start with the next piece that goes on top of it. So just apply Slip Solution to the lens and Slip Solution to the adhesive side of the film. And all we need to do is make sure it aligns here, it aligns there, and it reaches up to the edge here. You're going to notice that this section of the taillight does not get covered due to the fact that this section of the taillight has a deep curve, so it's not going to be able to be covered with the tint. So with this one, once you have it aligned, grab tack solution and start tacking the entire tint. So keep it aligned, grab your squeegee and tack everything down. And just make sure as you're doing this, you remove all of the solution underneath the film. That way there's no bubbles left over. And then once we're done tacking down everything, we can move on with the next step. One thing you can also do is apply heat around the entire film. That way the adhesive is able to activate faster. But first make sure to remove all the solution. So to start with the next installation that covers this section, just apply Slip Solution to the lens and Slip Solution to the adhesive side of the film. And with this one, something to keep in mind, tint doesn't cover the inside of the curve. It only covers up to the body line of the actual curve. And there is going to be the next install is the strip that covers the inside. So we just need to make sure when we align it on this edge and on the body line here. So to align it and tack it down, just apply tack solution. Keep it aligned on the body line and everything else should just fall into place. So hold it in position, grab your squeegee, make sure it's not moving and tack it down. And you would just apply tack solution underneath the entire tint and tack down everything with the squeegee until everything stays tacked down. Once we're done, we will seal the edges by applying tack solution and heat. That way the film doesn't lift. Keep it aligned on the body line. So when it comes to installing the strip that covers the edge here, We recommend doing it a dry method, so no solution required. All you need to do is just make sure you align it. So align it wherever you left off on the edge here. We recommend aligning it to the edge inside first. So work your way inside the curve and just follow through. Use your finger to cover the top. Make sure it stays secured. Try not to stretch the film, because if you stretch it, you're going to accidentally remove it from the curve. So before we finish it, just make sure everything stays tacked down, that it's not lifting. And now make sure you're holding it here and just finish it off until you reach it here on the edge. So lift it, hold it, tack it down, follow through until you reach it to the top edge. And it should cover up to the edge right there. Once everything's been tacked down, we're just going to help it tack down on the curve, just like this. That way it sits and covers this section here. And to help the adhesive activate a little faster, we're going to apply heat. That way the film stays tacked down on this curve and it doesn't lift over time. So you could apply heat and use your microfiber towel or your finger just to help it sit. And then once you're done adding heat and it stays tacked down, we can move on with the next piece. So now we're moving on to the last piece that covers this section of the tail light. So just apply slip solution to the lens and slip solution to the adhesive side of the film. And with this one, we want to make sure we align it to this edge first. So align it right on the edge and make sure it stays aligned on the top and on the bottom. Now that we have it aligned, lift the film carefully and apply tack solution underneath the film. Make sure it stays aligned, so it should be good aligned right there. Grab your squeegee and tack solution, spray it on top, hold it in position and tack it down to secure it. Make sure you tack down both sides, the top and the bottom. That way it doesn't move, because we're going to need to stretch the film to the top side to meet it also on the bottom. Once you tack down this whole piece, make sure it's not moving. Then we could stretch the film to the top piece. So just go ahead and apply tack solution just on top. Stretch the film until it reaches to the edge. Hold it in position and apply tack solution on top and start tacking it down. And if we have fingers on the top edge, we could remove those after by applying tack solution and heat. Our main focus right now is just to make sure this stays secured and it doesn't move. And then now we need to stretch the film going downward and stretch it here. That way we remove the finger that's in this middle section here. So lift the film, since the film did get dry, and apply slip solution underneath it. Bring it back down, make sure this area is dry. That way we have grip and stretching the film down. Hold it and stretch it towards the bottom. Make sure it's covering everything. And now that we have it stretched towards the bottom, hold it in position and apply tack solution on top. Grab your squeegee and tack it down. And finish it off by securing on the bottom as well. Just like that. And now we're just going to work our way to tacking down the fingers that you may encounter on the lower section and on the top. So all you need is tack solution, spray wherever the fingers are located, apply heat to help shrink the fingers. You can also use your finger to help make them smaller. Just go bypass them like this while you're applying heat. Bring them down slowly, because we don't want to accidentally crease the film as we're doing this. So just split them, that way they shrink and we're able to tack them down a little faster. Once you apply heat, grab your microfiber towel and your squeegee, wrap it around and start tacking the top and the bottom section. And you want a squeegee going at an angle, that way we don't crease the film. And just repeat this process until we remove all the fingers. And then once we're done, we're going to apply heat on the edges, that way we seal the edge and it doesn't lift over time. And then once we're done sealing the edges, we can move on to the next side. So now we're moving on to the section of the tail light. This one is a two-piece installation. The first one covers this section of the tail light. The other piece will cover the top. For this one, you can start by applying tack solution to the front end of the tail light and tack solution on the adhesive side of the film. Align it right on the edge and it should just fall into place up to the edge here. So once you have it aligned, grab your tack solution, apply it on top, grab your squeegee and start tacking down the film. And to tack down the lower section here, just apply heat And use your microfiber towel or your squeegee just to help it tack down on the curved section on the bottom of the taillight here. So just like this, make sure it stays tacked down. And before we move on, make sure that the top section is also sealed. So just apply heat to seal the edges, and then we'll move on to the next installation. So when it comes to installing the last piece, just apply slip solution to the lens and slip solution to the adhesive side of the film. Place it down on the edge right here. Make sure it stays aligned. Grab your tack solution and apply tack solution underneath and on top of the film. Grab your squeegee and start tagging it down to secure it. So once you have this section secured, all you need to do now is just stretch the film just a little bit until it reaches this edge here. But make sure this is all tacked down, because if it's not tacked down and you're stretching, the film is just going to lift and it's going to get misaligned from the edge. So make sure this is tacked down. Stretch the film. Stretch it, apply tack solution, and tack it down. Make sure to remove all the solution that's underneath here. And then for this part, we can apply heat and tack solution to help it tack down on the curve. Grab your microfiber towel and just help it tack down on the curve. Make sure there's no fingers, and just continue sealing this edge until everything's tacked down. And then once we're done sealing the edge, we can move on to the last step, which is post heating the entire headlight. And something to keep in mind with this piece, it doesn't cover all the way on the edge right here because of the type of design the taillight is. So let me show you how it looks. So as you can see, you have to stretch the film just up to the edge here, and that's where it stops. And then we would just apply heat to make sure it stays secure and it doesn't lift, because if we try to cover this whole section, the film's just going to lift over time. So keep in mind it doesn't cover up to this tip of the edge of the taillight. So the last step to do once finished with the whole installation is to post heat the entire taillight. So just apply tack solution throughout the entire film, and we're going to heat up the entire taillight by applying heat, making sure we apply heat on the edges, anywhere where we overlap the film. That way it doesn't lift over time and we're helping the adhesive activate faster. Once you're done with this step, you're done with the installation. So just take your time post heating the entire taillight. Thank you for choosing Bogar Tech Design. As a small business, your support means everything to us. If you loved your product, please drop a review. If you have questions or issues, don't forget to message us via email. Once again, thank you so much for the support from our family to yours. So that concludes the installation video for the Taillight Tint for the 2016 Honda Civic. We hope that the video helped you guys out with the installation. Don't forget to drop a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe and turn on the notification bell. That way you don't miss any of our upcoming installation videos. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.